guys! So today we are going to have a discussion on something that if you're not into van life or you don't really follow social media or the news or anything, then you won't be really aware of it. But North Yorkshire Council have banned Scarborough, Whitby and Caton Bay for overnight parking. It is a very, very touchy subject.
Yeah, especially in the Motorhome and Campervan Society. So it's an overnight ban for motorhomes and campervans in those areas.
We've been to Scarborough and we weren't the biggest fan of it. Anybody who knows us knows that it is our neck of the woods. We did have a pub in Filey just outside of Scarborough. Andrew, you lived there for...
Yeah, I moved to Scarborough in 1997, lived there for a couple of years, and then went to Filey for 14 years. So, yeah, we know the area well.
Very, very well. We've driven down that road hundreds and hundreds of times, including our wedding day. So it is very, very well known area to us.
It's raging, isn't it, on Facebook at the moment, on the groups. Opinions are very, very divided, and the wherefores of what's happened.
We'll just say beforehand, this is our opinions. This is me and Andrew will get very heated, very debated. So I apologise if there's any swearing. If you don't agree with our opinion, there's a comment section below. I expect to hear everybody's opinion on it. As long as you're nice and polite about it, go for it.
Yeah, everybody's got their own opinions on this, and they're all valid, most of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's a difficult situation. I think that it's been handled really, really badly by the council.
Do you want to just go through...
Let's go through some facts and figures, shall we?
Yeah, because there's some things I'm still unsure on and unaware of.
Okay, so the ban came about because local residents have complained about litter, waste, barbecues, camping in an area on Marine Drive or Albert Drive in Scarborough and the other areas that we've mentioned. So the council have taken it seriously and put a ban in place overnight from 11 p.m. till 7 a.m.
So you're still allowed to park during the day, though?
So you can park there during the daytime. It is a car. We'll talk about Marine Drive, Albert Drive in Scarborough, because we know that one.
Yes, we haven't stopped at the other two.
And it's the biggest out of the three.
We know Caton Bay quite well, but we've never stopped there, so we don't really want to comment on something we haven't stopped.
Yeah, I mean, we stayed on Marine Drive earlier in the year, in February, March time, when it was free for the day and for the night, because Scarborough don't charge during the winter months for parking, which is great. There are over 300 spaces on Marine Drive. We parked sideways, didn't we? There was plenty of space. There was no problem with us taking up 3 spaces over the winter months. If there had been, we wouldn't have done it, because we don't, do we?
No.
So in wintertime, it's free. And what we found out is that people have been staying for weeks and some months on end.
But that was during the winter season, wasn't it?
During the winter season, which I think is when this problem has started. Now, the councils have changed because it was Scarborough Borough Council initially, and they put in an LSAM point and a freshwater point on Marine Drive to encourage motorhomes over the winter time, mainly, and during the summer for somewhere to drop the black waste and grey waste. So that council encouraged people to come into town and park on Marine Drive. Scarborough Borough Council is no longer, it's now North Yorkshire Council, so we're dealing with a different council completely. And they've taken a different view. So they did a survey earlier in the year, which anybody could join in with. I've got some figures here which are quite interesting. Despite this being supposedly a massive, massive issue, only 563 people responded to this survey. Guess what? Only 57 people who were local residents were in favour of a ban. That's 57 people.
Out of 500?
Out of 563 people that actually bothered.
All of the 500 people didn't want the ban.
Yeah. So 59 people who are local residents, because they're the important, you know, they're
can
local.
I just, but I know you're going to go through your things, but can I also just say, what do you mean by local residents? Because Marine Drive is actually quite far away from anywhere where anybody lives.
Yeah, nobody lives on Marine Drive. There are no adjacent properties on Marine Drive. It's isolated. It runs around the head where the castle is. There are no properties. There are no it's not residential.
Right, so what does it mean by local? Does it just mean people who live in Scarborough?
Live in Scarborough.
But even though Scarborough's huge, and it is actually quite a wide area.
Yeah, Scarborough,
right,
I think Scarborough's either the second or third biggest town in North Yorkshire. It's huge. after York, and I think Middlesbrough's number 2, so I think Scarborough may be number 3.
Right,
So
okay.
it's huge. So these numbers are ridiculous. So only 57 people wanted the ban. 59 people, the majority of local residents, didn't want the ban, but it still went ahead. So there were motor caravan owners as well. 441 people filled out this thing, which you would guess that's going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
And only 32 people were in favour of a ban. The rest of it, yeah, of course, but nobody wants a ban, do they? But that's just ridiculous. The majority of local residents that bothered to fill out the thing didn't want the ban in the first place.
I think that's quite interesting to say that. So how many actual local residents voted altogether? Was it about 110?
116.
116. So out of the whole entire Scarborough,
the whole of Scarborough,
116 people were actually interested in the subject of whether or not to ban motorhomes from. So everybody else just wasn't bothered.
I think that this perceived problem, it wasn't even that big a problem in the first place. So you've got to ask, why have the council taken so much time and effort to make this a ban? I've just been reading a document. It's pages and pages and pages long. I mean, they've gone through the process properly to put this ban in place. So the ban, this is where it gets really silly. So they've decided that between 11 o'clock and 7 in the morning, there's a risk of fire spreading. So this is where they've got the ban put in place.
Say them times again.
Between 11 p.m.
Yeah.
11 o'clock at night till 7 in the morning.
So can I just wait. So you're telling me between 11 and 7. So obviously we all cooking our suppers at that time of night and putting the kettle on. None of us are cooking at 11 o'clock after 11 o'clock at night, and none of us are making breakfast before 7 o'clock in the morning.
No. But here's the thing. So they reckon that vans need to be 6 metres apart, which we kind of know that.
Yep.
If you go on a site, it's 6 metres apart. But during the daytime, when it's paid parking, you can park right next to another motorhome.
So the times during the day that you would actually be using your cookers and using
so lunchtime, tea time, having a barbecue
would be during the day.
So it's all right to pay £10.80. It's £10.80 for the day.
We do have to come into that because I didn't know this. I thought I'd seen everywhere it was a free park up, this, that, and the other. My brain didn't click to think, well, wait a minute, that's only on a night. People are paying to be there during the day, so they are actually paying the £10, whatever it is, the £11 to be there during the day. So if you're staying there for 3 days, you paid £30 to be there. That kind of puts the cat among the pigeons for me, because my opinion on the situation's changed a little bit because of that.
There is a 24-hour tariff that you can pay by the hour.
Yeah.
But from the 1st of April until the 31st of October, you have to pay during the daytime, between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. And if you want to pay for 24 hours, which I'm guessing is what people do, because it's £10.80. You know, so you get there, you spend all day and you spend overnight, which means you can go out for a drink. You haven't got to worry about driving if you've been into town and had a meal. There are a lot of areas where you pay £5 or £10 to stop overnight. We've been to several. We went in Balmoral, we were talking about yesterday. We went to Balmoral. There's 6 dedicated motorhome spaces. They are not 6 metres apart.
No, they're not. They are literally right next to each other.
And that's £10
and there was
overnight.
No extra space at all either side.
This is a decent-sized car park, and they've put all the motorhomes in one corner, which seems balmy.
But on the flip side, there is a reason that people have been complaining. I have seen a lot on Facebook. I have seen the fact that vans are taking up more space than they actually need to. We've had the issues of boulders being moved. I can see when people are parking on actual designated picnic areas so they don't have to pay the money, why people are starting to get annoyed.
We get annoyed and angry about it. We see posts on Facebook, and we've seen the photographs of time that you're talking about. There are boulders separating the car park from the grassed area, which you can have picnics on. You know, it's a
For
grassed
anybody
area.
who doesn't know, this car park isn't like a square car park. It is a road, and it has like bays that you pull into next to each other. There is an actual outside point with some toilets. There is a skate park for kids, and right next to the skate park, there is a quite a large piece of grass that people tend to have picnics on. Families go, and there's some picnic benches and some seats, and that's what it is. It's a picnic area. Yeah. So there was some boulders, wasn't there, blocking them between where the ordinary park and the piece of grass.
Purposely to stop you going on to driving onto the grass. So somebody has moved these boulders, and they're not small boulders. These
They're huge.
They must weigh a ton each. They've got to. So they've lifted these boulders out of the way, and then several motorhomes and camper vans have just gone onto the grass and parked there.
But that's common sense, surely. That they know they're not meant to be on there.
Well, the fact that there's boulders stopping you getting onto the grass, surely.
Do we know who these people were?
No.
So there is no things about them being ticketed or being moved on or anything like that. They've literally just parked there for the night and then moved on.
Don't know the full story. All I've seen is the photographs on Facebook groups, which, you know, give motorhomers and camper vans a bad name. It doesn't matter who they are, whether they got ticketed. The fact that they've done it in the first place is bad.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's infuriating when Scarborough went to all that trouble to make us welcome by putting in, not many councils have put in an Alson point and put in toilets and fresh water points, but they did. They made the effort.
They made the effort, and they welcomed motorhomers and camper vanners. Yes, we know that it's grown in the last couple of years since COVID, and during COVID it certainly grew, and there are a lot more people. And the 90-day situation with Europe also. So you can only be in Europe for 90 days, which means there's more motorhomers back in the country over the year. So there are more of us.
I will just say, and I'll get backlash, and that's fine. Bring it on. It's all right. I've got a stone heart, apparently. I do have to say that some of the photographs I have seen, people are taking liberties. There is people who are pulling out tents in next to the caravans. They've put them on the grass. They're having barbecues. We saw a disgusting piece of footage of a guy who'd emptied his toilet onto the grass. Like, those things surely are part of the reason that these people are complaining. Yeah. Like, they've give you an Elson point. That is either pure laziness of not wanting to walk down to empty your toilet, or there's been a queue. There is no excuse to pour your feces and your actual waste. No. It wasn't just sink waste, it was actual toilet waste onto the grass. No, especially where there's kids playing around.
Especially when there's a dedicated Elson point, you know, which is there. We talk about barbecues. There is signage up saying no barbecues and no camping. There is signage on that area that tells you exactly that.
But people do.
And I've seen photos of rubbish and litter. To my mind, it's not motorhomers and camper vanners that's left this litter, because it's McDonald's and pizza boxes. But the problem is, if that's come out of a car and people see it, and they see loads and loads of camper vans and motorhomes on there,
it sticks.
We're going to get the blame because of people breaking the rules elsewhere and doing the camping and doing the barbecues. So they'll say, well, they're leaving litter as well. So it's all coming back onto the community.
Do you also think, because we're arriving in mass, it isn't just drips and drabs of caravans coming and going? We are a bit like a swarm of bees. We kind of just arrive and then that's it. There is hundreds, because there is hundreds. There wasn't just 5 or 6. The whole entire road was just covered in motorhomes and vans and converts.
Yeah, in the report that the North Yorkshire Council did, it's very detailed, it's very interesting. They sent somebody down in early May to count the number of camper vans, and there was 132 in the 300 spaces, and that was at 7 o'clock in the morning. And there was a problem there as well, as you've already said, people taking up more than one space, because from 6 o'clock it's free parking, despite the fact you pay £10.80 for 24 hours, which I don't get if it's free after 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
People are coming at 6 o'clock and then taking up 3, 4, 5 spaces.
And then leaving first thing in the morning. Which is also a problem. It's a perceived problem, I think. But, you know, the residents, the 57 local residents, I can't believe these numbers. Yeah, you would think that it was such a problem that with thousands of people were like complaining. It's not. It's a handful of people, but we're not helping ourselves by taking up 5 spaces, parking sideways. It's going to be interesting to see what happens from the 1st of November when it's free again during the daytime, when anybody can park wherever they like. I think, but something for me that it does upset me when I saw there was a photograph that somebody posted on Facebook. You've got the photo, so you'll be able to show it. There was, all the vans were pretty much vertical. Yeah. None of them were parked in the bays. They were all parked. And when I counted, I can't even remember how many it was now. I think there was 100 and something spaces. Yeah. And there was only 30 vans in it. And it was kind of like, I get the point of people want some space, they've paid the £10, so they're feeling, once again, entitled. But when you're taking up them 4 spaces for one motorhome, it goes back to the point of somebody's complained, and they've said quite a few times about the fact that the motorhomes spend money. I'm not going to argue with that. We spend a lot of money. We've been in places where we have spent a lot of money. General math, right? Okay, we'll keep it simple terms, okay? Simple, just a family of 4 in a motorhome, okay? Motorhome the size of ours. We take up 4 spaces. So that's, you've got a family of 4. If 4 cars park there, that's 4 families of 4. And another thing is that family of 4s that are in the cars don't have facilities to be able to use the toilets, their own gas, have their own facilities of being able to make meals. So they're not going to be able to do what we do as motorhomers. So they're going to have to go into town. They're going to have to go and buy the breakfast, buy the dinner, get an evening meal. Compared to what we would spend in the town, I'm not going to lie and sit here and say we would spend fortunes, because we don't. Some places we do, some places we don't. One of the benefits of having a motorhome is the fact that we can cook ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can eat ourselves. So when the argument of people saying, well, they're going to lose money. In winter, God, yes, they are. They're going to lose money because that is empty during winter. But during summer, Scarborough is a busy place. It's not one of them places that's quiet during the summer. It's always busy during the summer.
Yeah, you are fighting for parking spaces during the summertime.
We've struggled in a car.
This perception that the motorhomes and caravanners and campervanners are needed during it's a misnomer. Scarborough don't need, because if there's a space, somebody else will fill it.
Yeah, always.
Winter, as you say, that is a different thing. And I think that's why Scarborough Council put the thing in the first place, to encourage motorhomers and campervanners to come. It's a big area, like we said before. It's not residential, so you're away from everybody. So why not? But the problem is now that they've put this blanket ban overnight parking for motorhomes and campervans. How is that going to affect the whole thing? Because that's not going to stop people doing barbecues during the daytime. It's not going to stop campervans parking next to each other, so the risk of spread of fire doesn't change. So it doesn't feel like they've attempted to manage it properly.
The difference is it'll be a deterrent now, won't it? Because you're going to not have people travelling miles who want to stop at Scarborough for a week because it's cheaper than some of the sites. Because in my brain, we've stopped at places that's cheaper than what Scarborough is, and personal opinion once again, but we weren't a fan of Scarborough. We weren't a fan of the seafront because there's only 2 roads through Scarborough. You've got the main road that you hit all the traffic lights through the town centre, or you've got the Sea Marine Drive. That Marine Drive is busy. That isn't a quiet road.
No.
Not until early hours of the morning, and then first thing in the morning it's busy again. People going back into the town. It wasn't quiet. It wasn't a nice, what I would class as a nice park up. But once again, that's personal to us.
Yeah, I mean the view's nice. But the noise from the road is just constant, and
boy racers.
And you don't feel safe because we've got dogs, and the last thing we want to do is for one of them to actually jump out, because you've got cars whizzing past you all the time. Same with kids as well. So it's not the safest of park ups really,
and it's not the cheapest for what you're actually getting, because all you are getting is an outside point. That's it.
So. Yeah, I just feel that the council haven't properly explored other alternatives than just putting a blanket ban in place.
I do agree. I think it could be a lot like Carlisle, Abingdon, places that we have been that have actually got spaces. Yes, they've got rules that you have to follow.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
But Scarborough haven't put them in place for people to follow.
No. And
give people an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Well, if there's no rules, then people will do exactly what they want.
Yep.
Put some rules in. Yes, they'll get bent, but there's some rules, and they can do something about it. Now, my argument here is going to be that we've seen around the country and in Scotland where it'll say maximum stay 48 hours or 72 hours, no return. So that's a rule that could be put in place. That would stop people from stopping for weeks and months during the winter months. All I'm saying is that there could be some rules, rightly or wrongly, taking up spaces. Maximum stay, park in a bay or park over 3 bays, and these are enforceable. Other councils do this. We've seen it.
Yes, we have. Yeah. If they're hiring somebody to go around ticketing a van,
well, if there's rules in place that could attract a penalty notice, They're already going to be employing somebody now to work between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. because you can guarantee that we're putting tickets on anybody that doesn't follow the rules for parking motorhomes and camper vans. So they're employing somebody anyway. So if somebody's not following the rules, and the technology is already there as well, so they know how long people have been in that bay. We've seen it. They walk round, put your registration number in, they'll come back 2 hours later and put a ticket on because you've been there 2 hours. So they're going to know if you've been there 2 days.
So is that going to cause an issue with everybody, of influx of vans for during the day? Then at 11 o'clock, they're more trying to find somewhere to sleep. Does that mean Scarborough's
Yeah, they'll go somewhere else.
Well, saying that, we have just seen an issue at Redcar.
Yep.
That is the next one.
Yep.
Which I've got, unfortunately, I think that will be the next one that it will get banned because once again, we are just swarming
Well,
a village.
it's quite interesting because I only read just last night that there's another coastal town, Saltburn.
Yeah.
They're going down a similar route. Well, they've been going through the same process and they've stopped the process because of exactly the online consultation proved that there were more people against it than were for it. So they've stopped their process completely. So they're not going ahead with it.
I do think it is quite interesting, and if nobody sees this video, if I don't come back, you know why. I do think it's a little bit strange that they're doing this in a town that has a lot of holiday parks.
Well, this is another issue, isn't it? You know, how much pressure are the council under from caravan park owners, haven sites, Park Dean sites,
because you've got 4 haven sites,
private touring sites that have been very quiet this year.
Yes.
We know they have by fact.
We have friends who...
We've spoken to a lot of people. We've got friends in that kind of
line of business,
and we know that the parks have been quieter. But who's going to pay 40 or 50 or even 60 pounds we've seen to be in a field and sometimes with no amenities or utilities when you can park on Scarborough seafront after 6 o'clock for nothing?
Or you can pay £10 for the day. If you think about it, if you arrive Friday evening, leave Monday morning or Sunday night, you've only got to pay for 2 days.
Yeah.
That's 20 quid for a weekend in Scarborough.
Exactly.
My issue is if you were going to be doing that, right? So if we were going to go away for a weekend, if we were weekenders, not full-timers, and you were planning on saying, right, we'll go to Scarborough for the weekend, you're going to go out for fish and chips, you're going to have a wander around town, you're probably going to go out for Sunday lunch. So the town would have been making money off them people for that weekend because it was only 20 quid. Yeah. If you were on a site and it was 60, 70 quid for that weekend, you're out of town. You're not going to...
all your money's gone, all your spending money's gone on your site, so you wouldn't go out and buy your fish and chips.
I am going to throw a spanner in the works. I have seen a comment I've seen a few comments of people saying, well, why don't you use a site? That kind of annoys me a little bit because people don't realise, especially if you're not a motorhomer, if you're on a site, 9 times out of 10, these sites are quite far out of the town centres or the main areas of the town. Yeah. So Scarborough, we'll use that. If you're in a campsite and you're, I don't know, say you're a Park Dean, that's all out of Cape and Bay. How do you get into town and spend your money in town? You're not going to. No,
this is, and I'll probably get into trouble for this, but it's greedy touring site owners.
Oh, well and truly, I 100% agree with you on that
that want them on their site and spend their money with them.
On the site, yeah.
They're not bothered about the towns that they're in. But that goes back to how much pressure. We've seen it in Pembrokeshire just this year, was it?
Yes.
Where the local town council wanted to provide several dedicated motorhome spaces in one of their car parks, and the pressure was so great from the touring park owners that they scrapped the idea, which I think is absolutely appalling. Do these site owners really think that by scrapping motorhome bays in council car parks is going to make a difference to them? People won't go. People will still not pay 40 or 50 pounds to be on site.
The problem you have is we have 2 different communities. You have the people who are full-timers. You have the people that live like this who spend a lot of time out in their van. Fine, they might have a home, but they spend a lot of time. We know a lot of people that go to all the festivals, who are out in it every single weekend. Yeah. They can't afford to pay what this other side of the community can. We have friends who will only use sites. They won't wow park. They won't do anything for free. They will only pay, and they're quite happy to go and pay that £60, £70 a night because they've got the money to. I think one of the other things that a lot of people didn't realise is you have the open air theatre right next to that car park. If you're going there, Thank you, Mr. Tractor. If you're going there for a concert, whether it be Peasant Park when they've got their shows on, there is a lot of stuff on in that area that people would have used that car park for. Like now, if we want to go to a concert there, we're kind of stuck.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, that is after 6 o'clock, which is notoriously when these things at open air theatre are going to be on, and there's more than ever.
Yeah.
Where do you park? Because you would have parked along Marine Drive, because it's not that far a walk.
No, it's not that far at all. You can park on the end and you're right next to it.
But because it's taken up now by 4 spaces being taken up by motorhomers, people are going to get upset.
Because another thing I don't know if people do realise, especially motorhomers, the open air theatre is huge. It's not. It was the biggest open air theatre in Europe at some point, wasn't it?
Yeah, 8,500 capacity,
and it sells out.
It's not a small place.
We've tried to go to concerts there that have sold out.
Yeah.
And you've had huge acts there. You had Britney Spears, Kylie. You've had huge acts, and there is big acts going again this year. So they do fill up.
That would upset if I was a resident in Scarborough and I got tickets and I couldn't park because of I'd get upset about that.
Yeah,
I would.
Which is where I think a lot of people don't understand, and it comes back to again to being entitled, of thinking, well, I've paid me £10, I can park how I want, rather than thinking, okay, I've got a smaller van, I could probably fit into that one bay.
Yeah.
I'll park properly. They won't. They'll follow the trend of every single person who's parked across bays.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be an interesting thing, because how are they going to describe motorhomes and camper vans? Because I've read somewhere that you've got to have a fixed table to be classed as a camper van. So what about these vans that have just got a bed in? Are they going to get away with it?
Probably.
Because they're not official camper vans. How is that fair? So a motorhome, you can see it's a motor caravan, it's classed as...
But then things like sprinters and
Sprinter vans
and
that we've seen, and good luck to them. If they can get away with it, bending the rules, then that's fine. But how is that fair that they can put a bed in their van and it's not classed as a camper van, but they'll be allowed to park overnight?
I still think the council have just sold out. I think it's been a very easy... I will just ban everybody for a year and a half.
The decision has come about, and they got through on a technicality that the fire authority don't want vans less than 6 metres apart because of the danger of spread of fire.
So why haven't they put in regulations and rules instead of just cancelling it all? I think that's the thing that kind of...
Yeah, it's quite annoying that, that kind of space, that kind of size of car park they just haven't really gone through it, and it just feels like a cop-out. It really does.
I think it will be when it comes to winter, because if you're not from the area, we are from the area, so we know it extremely well. There is a lot of actual parking in Scarborough. If you want the town centre, you park nowhere near Marine Drive.
No.
There is car parks, multi-storey car parks, smack bang in the middle of the town.
Yeah.
Also, if you want in the seafront, there is bigger car parks just beforehand. You've got the whole drive before it that you can park, cars can park up on. So in winter, I know for a fact that road will be dead. There will be nobody on that road.
It's now going to discourage people from coming for an overnight, isn't it? If you want to come to Scarborough and have your fish and chips in a restaurant and have a couple of beers, you can't.
No.
Simply you can't, because you've either got to have a designated driver, which takes the fun out of it a little bit. So why would you?
But
in winter, why would you do it?
If you're coming with your family for a weekend, like I know for a fact over Christmas, when they've got all the Christmas markets and stuff on, because they do quite a nice Christmas market at the open air theatre.
Yes, they do.
So how many people are now that would have originally gone in the van community that won't attend now, or the light switch on, or the fireworks, or the light shows that they have at the front?
Yeah.
Like they have taken a lot of people away from them things, because them shops we know personally only open on weekends. Fish and chip shops rely on tourist trade. It's not the locals that use them, it is purely tourists.
Yeah, you're right there. And there is going to be some trade lost over the winter months, which is why I don't think it's been thought through properly.
And I also think, why put in the Melson points and toilets? They were put in for motorhomes. That was the point of putting them in there.
But this is the change.
Why now do that?
This is the change of council, though, isn't it? Scarborough is dedicated to looking after Scarborough. It's now North Yorkshire Council, which means they're looking after York and everywhere else.
Which is notorious for not having anywhere to park up in.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's an 18-month trial period, and in the documentation it says that it's fully expected to be implemented permanently within the 6 months following the 18-month trial. I'm not sure what we can do. As a community, I'm not sure what we can do to reverse the decision.
Is there a petition out there? Is there a council petition put in? Is there anything sort of happening? Does anybody know of anything happening that we can sign personally and that we can say, well, actually, we think it's wrong. You could probably do this, this and this instead and make it more...
Yeah.
Let us know, please. I want everybody's opinions on this, because if we're wrong, I want to know why.
I want to see, while during this trial period now, we can't turn back on this. It's happening. It's a live scenario. But they can change things. Now, why can't they put some rules in place? No barbecues, no camping, parking 1 bay during the daytime, parking 3 bays over night time or 4 bays, maximum 48 hours, no return within 72 hours. Why can't they put those things in place?
Anybody who knows the road does actually widen out near the skate park. There was actually quite a big overhang. Why can't they turn them into motorhome bays? Obviously, you're not going to get 132 motorhome bays on there, but you could easily fit a good 20 or 25 bays on there. Then they're restricting it to 25 people. Have a maximum amount of time that you're allowed to stay. Have it a weekend, have it for 3 days, or have it for a week, whatever that the council decide. But they could easily put 25 bays in there, just stick it as it already is, £10 for 24 hours. People are quite happy to pay to be in Scarborough, and regulate them. Surely that's going to be easier than the chew on that they're now going to have with having to now hire somebody else to go out at 11 o'clock at night to make sure that their motorhomes have left by 11 o'clock. Have somebody go to 7 o'clock to make sure nobody hasn't arrived at 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah. So if they're employing somebody to do that, why can't they employ the same person to make sure that somebody's not breaking the rules?
Yeah.
You know, it's
exactly the same.
It's the same person. They're employing somebody already. So what's the hardship in putting some simple rules in and then letting somebody park overnight?
That somebody isn't getting a freebie.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
I don't think it's down to money this time. I think it's just down to they can't be bothered with the hassle of managing it.
Well, I think we've exhausted this conversation. We're in like 45 minutes. Please let us know your opinion. We want to hear what other people have to say. We also would like any ideas of what you would like us to have a discussion about.
Yeah, within the realms of motorhoming and camper vanning.
Yeah, we don't want to be discussing random subjects that don't really...
No, we've got a lot of things that
we have very strong opinions.
Strong opinions on lots of things that we probably wouldn't want anybody else to hear. So, but yeah, if you've enjoyed the podcast today, or it's got you angry, or you feel like you need to do something about it, then put something in the comments below, because we need to do something. We don't want to lose these places. So it feels like it's a little bit too late, but there must be something that we can do. We have to learn from this. As a community, we have to learn and think, right, okay, what did they do wrong at Scarborough? What did they do wrong at Whitby and Caton? There has to be things that have happened there that we as a community can go, right, okay, we need to stop repeating this. There has to be. Yeah, and I think we need to pull together as a community. So if not everybody gets it right. You know, we know rentals and we know people that do weekenders. I'm not calling everybody with the same stick. But you see people leaving litter, just go and pick it up. Put it in the bin. I know it's not the nicest. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't enjoy doing it, but I will do it. We've done it. I will make sure when I leave a park up, I will have picked up litter. I'll have, McDonald's cartons, cigarette packs. Like, I will make sure that I've cleaned up something. Litter. But leave no trace, and if you can, leave it better than it was. Yeah. You know, if we applied that to Scarborough Seafront, I don't think we'd be in the situation where we are now.